All right. Hello, everybody. Dave Schroeder. Welcome to another edition of Newrez Voices. Some voices better than others today, right? I'm really excited today to have Victoria Akampelu with us. Victoria and I have worked together for years here at Newrez now, and she's always been one of my all-time favorites. The energy level she brings, the way that she inspires her team members. So, Victoria, thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you. And thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm going to have to save that and play that anytime I do anything. Here's my introduction from Dave Schroeder, and I'll play the clip.
Oh, well, hey, like I said, you were already a superstar when I met you back in 2020, I think, going back that far. But I think you have an awesome story of how you got into the business and kind of how you developed to being where you are today at Newrez. Could you just bring everybody else up to speed on what that journey looks like?
Yeah, definitely. So first and foremost, pleasure being here today. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to share my story and be a part of such an amazing program that you run here with the New Res Voices. I have been in mortgage since the moment I graduated high school. And don't let the high voice and baby face fool you. It's over 20 years in mortgage. I was a senior year in high school and I was working at Popeye's Chicken. And my brother, who is now departed from us, he said, "Hey, you need a real job. You need to go apply at Countrywide Home Loans. They're a mortgage company." And I kind of blank stared at him and said, "What's a mortgage?" And he said, "Just go apply. They'll teach you everything that you need to know." And so actually went for a customer service position. And after speaking with the recruiter, she looked at me and said, "I think you'll do better in collections." So I started a 10-year servicing in a collections journey. And then one day, the market had turned and the delinquency was no longer needed. And a bunch of suits walked in and said, "You have an opportunity to take a severance package, or you can become a loan originator." And I never heard of what a loan originator was. It's 2012, and I thought I had it made with my servicing position. And they taught us about the income and learning opportunities of being in originations. And so I think it was about 300 of us that had that opportunity, and less than 50 of us took it. I'm very happy that I took it because it started an originations career that I've been very successful in and that I've been able to maintain. And now, listen, that was 2012 when they gave us that opportunity, and I'm still in originations now. I'm loving it every single day.
Yeah, that's amazing because we talk about that within Newrez. I think one of the awesome opportunities here is the fact that we are in servicing and we've got an amazing support team across functions and we've got different channels. And there's just so much opportunity in the industry to move. If you're doing one thing really well, but you want to try something new, you can do that. You just have to have the courage to take the leap. And you're an amazing success story of that. So, the other thing I'd love to have you share with people, I think that when you came over, to us, it was important to the leader at the time that you came in and proved you were a great salesperson before you had leadership. And so maybe you could talk about how you came in and your journey to now leading our Dallas retention originations.
Yeah, definitely. So an amazing leader recruited me. Took literally probably about 3 months for me to make the decision to come over. He was dogmatic about calling me all the time and setting up meetings and explaining what Caliber Home Loans had to offer. But he did make it very clear, your reputation precedes you, but you still have to prove yourself. And so he created a career path for me that would land me as an assistant vice president, but it's had to start on the phones because before you can lead people and show them how to do it, you have to be able to do it yourself. And he had heard a lot of good things about my sales abilities. And he said, "Listen, come in and get on the phone, start from the bottom and work your way back up. And if you're as good as you say you are, then my plan will come to fruition." And so I came in and it kind of gave me a chip on my shoulder. A lot of people that I knew were working at Caliber, and I had been out off the phones for a while in some special projects, some leader opportunities at my previous employer. And so I came in wanting to prove that I still have it, right? That,
Yep.
no matter what happens, I can still get on the phone and win that customer. I came over in my first full month on the phones, I broke a record. I locked 106 loans and submitted 101 of them. Then the very next month, I broke a funding record by funding 73 of those loans. So it was clean in, clean out. And that kind of set the pace of the race because after I actually broke that record, the next thing was everyone else wanted to break the record after me. And so it kind of created a great momentum on our sales floor of trying to be the best and wanting to be the best. But what it also did for me is it re-solidified that you can do anything you put your mind to. It doesn't matter how long it's been since you've been on a position where you're working with customers. That's still our core value. If you take care of the customer, whether you're a loan officer or a leader, everything always works out. And I was very thankful and grateful for that opportunity because it gave me a wonderful perspective when I got into leadership. I did the job. I didn't just come in and, start looking at reports and telling people what to do. I was in your shoes for multiple months at performing at an extremely high level. So there should be no doubt that I can lead you to success because I myself have been successful. So it was a
That's
wonderful
right.
opportunity.
Yeah. And it is a reinforcement too that leadership's not just a title. It's not just when you have, folks that are reporting to you, that kind of a thing. All of us are leading every day in what we do and what we set the expectation of excellence as being. In that case, I just love that story because you came in and showed what the bar is and what's possible for somebody walking in the door. Like you didn't know our systems or anything. And within 60 days, you were showing everybody a new level of possibility, which is just awesome. So again, I'm a huge
Oh, thank you.
Victoria fan. It's a great story. Like you said, you've led people for many years. One of the things we always talk about on Voices are what are the common themes that we see in great people, great salespeople, great service. You've probably led hundreds of people over the years. Are there a couple things that always or repeatedly come out to you as being the traits of winners, of people who are successful in production, in the experience they deliver for customers?
Yeah, so I would say a few things. So first things first, and this is something that I had to learn over the years. You have to take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you can walk in and take care of others. And when I speak of others, that's employees, that's customers. When you are at your best health, you then can perform at the highest level of whatever game you're trying to play. So I think that's something that far too often we don't take as important, but you have to be at your best every single day. So you have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and you have to come in ready to do what needs to be done. Another thing that I've learned is integrity is super important. If you do anything with integrity, it always works out. And some of my top salespeople, they have integrity and they're okay making the hard phone calls. They're okay telling a customer no. Their no is their no, their yes is their yes. And they're dedicated to just a great customer experience. If you really want to give the customer, because we want customers for life, if you really want to make a customer for life, honesty and integrity and doing the right thing at all times has to be at the top of your meter. And then you have to have a lust for learning. This is an ever changing game. What happens today might not be the protocol next week. If you don't stay abreast of those changes, you could be declining someone who truly qualifies for a loan. So you have to make sure that you're continuously learning. And that's what top performers do. They change, they adapt, they adjust, but they do it all with an integrity that never wavers. And that's what I've seen from my top people.
Yeah. I love all of that. And especially the part about the education, because I agree with you that the top loan officers, the top salespeople, no matter what channel it's in, are always masters of their craft. And that's a never ending job, whether it's understanding the guidelines or talking to other successful people about how they deliver messages, structuring deals, all those kind of things. It's one of the things that I've loved about this business over many, many years is just I seriously learn like not just one new thing every day, but multiple new things every day. And
Yes.
so staying open to that and, knowing that there's always somebody who's got something that you don't know and accepting that and integrating it where it makes sense, man, that is the sign of a winner for sure.
Yeah.
So what's your approach? Still talking about leadership, and I'm sure it's evolved over the years. How would you define your leadership style, of coaching and role playing? Like, what are the things that you do, and how have you evolved over time in developing salespeople?
I think the biggest involvement that I've had, the biggest self-development I had is number one, you have to meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. They will get to where you want them to be over time, but you have to meet them where they are because if we're not connecting, nothing I tell you will penetrate, right? Another thing is everyone learns differently. You have to get to know your people so you can teach them effectively. Some people you can say at one time they're off to the races. Some people would like an email. Some people would like a Teams. Some people would like a smaller one-on-one learning environment. It is very important that we have effective communication. And you also have to deliver a hard message sometimes, and you have to be okay with that. I think that, I describe my leadership style as servant leadership. I'm here for you. without the employees, Newrez would be non-existent, right? So anyone who is inside my organization, whether they report to me or don't report to me, I owe them a duty of being there for them. Whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, I need to make sure that I'm supporting anyone who I come in contact with, because that's one thing that makes Newrez great. I've worked in some organizations that were very siloed. I'm in this department. I can't help you. I'm in this department. We came out with some core values. And if you really and truly look at those core values, one of them is building bridges. And the building bridges is very important because I try to build a bridge with anyone I come in contact with, not just my department, to any department. And everyone knows I'm here for you, right? And we were just talking about there's some snacks behind me that the people can't see. Everyone in the building knows if you need a quick little pick me up, come down here. I'm going to give you some positive vibes, but you also can get a snack, right? That's a bridge that we're building. And I think as leaders, it's very important that every day we have to bring our best selves to work. We don't have an opportunity of having a bad day because so many people depend on us. But also, it just makes you feel better when you come in every day ready to work for your people and celebrate the wins. But I would just say, I've learned to listen more. That is one thing that I think when you first get into leadership, you almost have a egotistical view that you know it all. That's why you became a leader. That is the exact opposite, right? You actually know far less than what you think you do. And a part of your leadership journey is learning from the people above you, below you, the people who are on the same level as you. And if you do that, you'll find your own leadership style.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that is true. And I actually was just reading a book earlier this week that really resonated with me. I mean, to keep developing myself and the way I look at the world, like you say, of meeting people where they are. I think a lot of times I fall guilty of expecting other people to be as excited as I am or want to work as hard as I do. And this book was making the point that's a flaw in me. Other people, everybody's got their own thing and everybody's got their own equation of what work-life balance looks
Yes.
like or what they're passionate about and all those things. And it's our job as leaders to, like you say, meet them where they are and figure out how to optimize them, how to optimize for them to achieve their potential as it relates to Newrez. And if that's not going to be where it is, part of that role may be helping them to find something else. But it's always about everybody, as I always say, nobody wakes up, rolls out of bed, and doesn't want to do a good job. Nobody thinks they're not a good person. So it's up to us to find the best in people and amplify that as best we can.
Yeah, and build on their strengths. That's one thing that I've learned. Everyone's not going to be perfect in every area. No one's perfect, not myself. Like, no one in the world is perfect. And so when you find the strengths of your employee, you just build on that and you want to stay positive and understand they're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. You can't let the mistakes keep you down. You just have to come in every single day, like you said, ready to win. And then also, one thing I've learned is everyone has a different view. It could be the same situation, but everyone has a different view of what they take and what resonates with them. And you have to understand as a leader, you give a message and you feel like you deliver it a certain way, but you can't control how people receive that message. And so you always want to make sure that if you have those conversations when people ask you, one thing that I've learned from you and also from another leader named Justin is anytime anyone wants to speak to you, take that meeting. They can want to speak to you. Someone want to talk to me about bottled water. That's fine. Take the meeting, right? Because if it's important enough to them where they want to bring it to you, it should be important enough to me where I want to listen to it. So I think over time, I've learned the importance of small and big conversations and the importance of building on people's strengths.
Right. Yeah, love it. We've talked about learning, we've talked about evolving. So, how do you personally keep learning and evolving? Do you have a regimen of podcasts, of reading, of building bridges? Like, what do you do to stay sharp?
Yeah, so I'm in a book club. So we read a book every single month. This month we're reading Let Them by Mel Robbins. I'm a huge Mel Robbins fan. I'm a huge David Goggins fan. Even old school Tony Robbins. I like his older things. Huge Oprah fans. I typically try to stay plugged in with books. Now, listen, I was just making a joke. I'm the least tech-friendly millennial you'll ever meet. I don't like a Kindle. I don't like a tablet. I want an old school paperback book with my bookmarker and my highlighter that I can go back to. I journal quite a bit, especially if something is a problem that I'm trying to understand. I like to meditate on it and write out different solutions and how would that work and how would this not work. One thing that I have also developed is my physical activity. I always tell the story. I used to be 320 pounds, and physical activity not only changes your health, but also changes your mental clarity. So I'm a big advocate now of, staying healthy, taking care of yourself. Food can do two things. It could heal you, it could kill you. You got to make sure you're making the right decision with how you feed your body every single day. I do listen to podcasts, but not as much as I read books. I think books just have always been something I've gravitated towards. I mean, the Scholastic Book Fair, when they came to town, I was asking my parents for some money so I can go get my books, right? They probably made millions off of me in the, so I think to me, everyone has to find an outlet that not only supports their career, but supports their life, right? What can you do to feed yourself and your spirit? And just books are the thing for me. Books and walking. I walk 2 to 4 miles a day at minimum every single day. I get out in nature. I get sunlight. I've just changed my lifestyle. And with that lifestyle change, allowed me to become a better leader. I'm not as tired. I don't have the brain fog. Health issues have declined. I mean, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm not a bodybuilder, right? I don't have a six pack under this Newrez shirt, but it's still a great change of pace. I can move faster. I can make, I think, clearer decisions when you're in a better health space. So I think that just staying healthy, staying active, and always keeping my brain working. There's lots of data out there about using your brain as much as possible. And as you get older, that brain strength will continue. And I think all that rolls into leadership, because if I can't take care of myself, how can I take care of you?
That's right. Yeah, I love that. And that's awesome that you do the journaling. That's something that I read about all the time that is a powerful way to better yourself. And I just haven't made the leap yet to make that time. But I am a huge believer in writing things down. Like you say, I try to write a lot. I've got a lot of notebooks that I write things down because I think a lot and something seems like a good idea. But then when you write it down, you're like, wait a second, that's not such a great idea.
Exactly.
So I do think it adds to a rigor of thought, just like having an agenda for meetings adds a rigor of thought to why are we doing this? Could this be an email? What are the questions we're trying to answer versus so many meetings you get into are just like a stream of consciousness. And it's like, what are we doing? And it's messy thinking. And that's, I think, what we're all trying to do as leaders is think more clearly, be more efficient, make greater impact.
And another thing that journaling has helped is it helps you stay positive. You can write out your wins, right? Today was great because XYZ. And then you can circle back to those wins and you can build on those wins. And it also just gives you just a moment of clarity. Like, does this make sense? Should I be making a left or should I be making a right? And then just writing it out helps navigate your thoughts and what you should be doing. But there's a thing about positivity and how positivity creates momentum. Because if you sit and focus on negativity, then of course you'll spiral out and, just be a negative person. But if you always find something to be positive about every single day, and sometimes my positivity comes from my employees, when my employees come to me with great success stories. I had an employee, she's a junior loan officer. So she came in, she used to be a hairdresser. She was referred by somebody here. She went through our JMC program. So literally from knowing nothing about mortgage to getting on the phone within 3 months. And she's excelled at a very high level. Her income has more than doubled from her previous employer. And she was able to buy her mom a new car. And she sent us a picture of the new car and she was so excited. And this is the first time I've ever been able to go buy a brand new vehicle off a lot. And that went into my journal that day. That was like, listen, I was able to assist someone in a career change, and that career change has led to financial success. That's a total win. And 5 years from now, I can look back and relive that moment again because I've written
That's
it
right.
down and counted it as a positive.
That's amazing. I just had to take a minute to take that in because that's the impact stuff. And I know I've talked to you about it. I talk to people all the time that someday we're all going to be sitting on a rocking chair somewhere. And I don't think we're going to talk about the huge months of production or those kind of things. As fun as those are and as meaningful as those are to the mission, we're going to be talking about the people that we help buy a car and they're going to be talking about us. Like that's legacy. That's the stuff of life. So it's an amazing leadership impact. Shifting gears a little bit to your day-to-day work, and you mentioned this earlier that we're working to make customers for life. We want to earn people's business and keep them with us and deliver the kind of experience for our customers as well, that they look at us as a trusted advisor. What in your role and talking to loan consultants and talking to customers in a lot of cases, what are the things that you're hearing from our customers that make Newrez a special place, that make Newrez the place they want to be a customer for life?
I think one thing we have working for us is we have a curated experience for our customer that starts in every department the moment we pick up the phone. And I'm a Newrez customer. Multiple of my homes are with Newrez. And if I've ever had to call, there's always a smiling face at the other end of the phone. And you can hear a smile, right? You can hear a smile
Yes, you
versus
can.
a frown. And I think our experience that we've created with our customer, with our digital products, with the ease of going in, making a payment, seeing your escrow changes, the notifications that we send out, our marketing is very customer friendly. I think we're creating the customer and we're keeping them in our ecosystem through multiple touch points, but every touch point is fluid and seems very connected. Sometimes, and I've had multiple homes. I remember when I bought my first home, it just was not a great experience. It just was not. And this, I was a loan officer buying a house, and either tracker was all messed up and no one was confirming I was getting my documents, and then like my loan closed, but like something was happening and it was glitching on the app. I'm like, man, you guys are a big bank and this is just not a pleasurable experience. I've done multiple employee loans here and it's always been a pleasurable experience. We have really crafted and curated a process that puts the customer first. And that's important to customers. When they call into customer service, if they don't have a great customer service experience, they're not going to want to be transferred to originations. They're going to say, no, thank you. Like, I didn't like you. Why would you transfer me to someone else I might not like?
That's right.
So customers in this day and age, they want human interaction and they want great service. I know AI has taken over and we're doing some wonderful things with AI, but when it comes to originations, you just can't beat someone being able to answer your questions, a laugh, a how's the weather out there, these small things that we try to do to create the relationship and the rapport. And I think that's what makes the customer for life. Hey, listen, Victoria remembered I have 2 kids and a dog, right? The AI machine is not going to remember that, right? When this trigger company calls me, the trigger company is just trying to wham bam and just hurry up and get my loan, versus Newrez took the time to understand me as a customer, me as a client. And we do that through education. Our loan officers are educated on our customer portal. They're educated on our website. They're educated on all the different departments that support us so we can speak intelligently when we speak to a customer about how to contact the escrow department, how to log in and make your payment, where you can see your tasks on the portal. And that experience will make someone stay with you forever.
That's right. Yeah, I think what all of that comes down to is that people want to feel like they're making a genuine connection and they're not just another call or a number of, hey, I got to get through this call. I got to move on to the next thing as fast as I can, that you're actually sitting there and listening and connecting. I totally agree with that. And that's the kind of experience we want for every customer. It is, going back to something you said earlier, is meet people where they are. Some people just want to deal with a chatbot and get a quick answer. Great. We got that. Want to talk
Yes.
to a human being? We got that too. Speaking of the things that we're doing, and you brought up AI, which we're doing a ton of work there. It's too numerous to go over on this call, all the amazing things we have going on at Newrez right now. But are there one or two things that are standing out to you for 2026 that have got you the most excited, that we're either rolling out new or doubling down on for you and your team?
I would say my top 3 things. First is MOVA. That is our artificial intelligence system that is allowing us to listen to phone calls. We've built in kind of some of our preferences of how we would like calls to go. And that system can take a phone call and instantly give feedback to our loan officers. It is amazing. Whereas if I listen to the call, that's 45 minutes of me listening to the call, giving feedback. MOVA can just listen to the call quickly. It provides feedback directly to the loan officer. And then it also says, if you don't feel like this feedback is correct, tell me what you think. And then the MOVA will take that and kind of relearn itself. So I think that's amazing. It's a time saver. We're using it on all fronts. And it takes away from any possible bias, right? Listen, this is a machine telling you how you can do better. It's not me. There's nothing behind it but us wanting you to be better. I think that's great. I think the second thing is that we're doing some AI stuff in underwriting. I think that's really good. It'll make us super efficient, because if someone's a 800 FICO conventional W-2 with a PIW in Argyle connected, let's speed that customer through the process, right? We don't need 3 or 4 second level reviews and all this manpower. I think that's wonderful to have. Now, listen, I don't want AI underwriting every loan, like not my manual downgrade. I want to make sure that one's right. But the speedy ones, I definitely agree with having a system that can underwrite that loan quickly and shave off some days for the customer, because speed to lead and speed to close are super important. And the faster we can deliver them what we promised them, that also creates a customer for life. And then the last thing I'm actually excited about about is the cryptocurrency opportunities that's rolling out. I think we're one of the first in the mortgage that's going to be rolling that out. And you'll be surprised. A lot of our customers hold crypto assets. And when I was doing purchase, a lot of people would say, well, hey, listen, I have $1 million over here and let's just say Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whatever it is, and I can liquidate that quickly, or I can use it as reserves, or how can I factor this into my loan? And with that, there's also a community of people with crypto. Like if you look on Reddit and you kind of look at YouTube and things of that nature, if someone's into crypto, they are into crypto with other
Right.
people. And so if we can get one of those customers, then that can lead to another customer and another customer. And that's just a whole community of people that we now can service with these new products and these new opportunities. I think that's very exciting because as our customer base changes, we need to change with it. We need to make
Yeah.
sure that we're staying abreast with the times and that the world's different. 20 years ago, there was no Bitcoin. Well, I guess there was a Bitcoin, but no one was using it, right? And now it's on the news every single day. And so anything we can do to keep up with changing financial times will always put us in the forefront of being a financial leader.
Right. Yeah, I am super fired up about the crypto as well. I hadn't really thought about the community side of it, but you're totally right that that's a great chance for when we deliver a great experience for those customers, for them to talk and refer other people, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited about crypto as well, is that I do think it's something that more and more people are involved in. And so if there's an opportunity for us to help people purchase homes now that weren't able to use these assets in that qualification, I just view it as another way for us to help. And I think we're all committed to the mission of helping to drive home ownership and the options that are within that. So, yeah, awesome. We talked earlier about a couple leaders that I recognize you talking about, and I wanted to ask you, who is the most influential leader or person that you've worked with, and why? And you don't have to name them, but just like, what are the things that have made an impact on you from a leader over the years?
And I have so many great mentors, and mentorship to me is super important because as I make my way, I understand that there are people who have already paved the way, and the path that I'm walking is a path that other people have created for me. And I think that few leaders, because I can't pick just one, but the first things first is someone saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. That's the first thing. Like someone else had to recognize talent in me. Then once they recognize the talent, they help me grow that talent and understand that there is no ceiling. I think sometimes when you're a loan officer, you're on the phone, you're making money, you're having fun, you just kind of want to stay there. And someone pulled me to the side and showed me it's great to do it for yourself, but it's amazing to do it for others. And that kind of started my leadership, just
Yeah.
kind of poking around. Do I want to be a leader, right? Like, because you can be very selfish and just say, I want to do this for myself and forever only be an individual contributor. And someone showed me the power of leadership and the fulfillment of that. And then also another thing is someone taught me how to be myself. A lot of times when you're in corporate America, you feel like you have to fit into a box, right? You got to be liked, you got to look a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way. And someone taught me that my strength was being myself. Come as you are, right? I have a different life view and a different perspective. And when you're in a room of people, let that be your superpower. When everyone else is saying ABC, maybe I come back with XYZ and give everyone a different way of looking at things. And I think that has actually been one of the biggest things that have helped me over the years is coming as I am. Sometimes you shrink around other people and everyone has a meeting that they're nervous to go into. There's not one person in the world that hasn't been like, oh my God, there's such and such in this meeting. I'm kind of nervous. And I have had a leader that said, listen, be prepared. Show up as yourself and you're in the right place at the right time. You're never going to be in a meeting you shouldn't be in. You're never going to be or have an opportunity presented to you that you're not worthy of. And when you get that fire in you, okay, you know what? I can do anything. Anything is for me. And of course, you got to do it humbly, right? Because sometimes with success comes other egos and things that in other vices, right? Got to stay humble, which is something that you personally taught me that I definitely always try to make sure, okay, check yourself, make sure that you're still playing your right role. But leadership and the lessons that you learn from leaders can come from anywhere. Right. I think I learned something almost every single day. But I think that the biggest thing that I've learned is you can do it. There's nothing will stop you. Doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you fit in or if you don't fit in. There's something inside of you that makes you special. And whatever is inside of you, you just have to use that as your superpower. And once I learned to do that, I think that I've enjoyed my career, my leadership journey a lot more.
Yeah, I love that. I was talking to some of our academy mortgage originators earlier this week, people who have no experience in the business. And I told them, having spent 30 years in this, one of the things that stands at the top for me and what I love about the business is that there is a place for everyone and for everyone to be themselves. It really just requires hard work and keep learning and treat people right, and good things will happen. It always does,
Always.
without questions. It is an amazing thing and an amazing journey. So, to that end, when we've talked about a lot of these things, for somebody who's considering getting into the industry or for somebody who's just getting started, what are a couple things you would tell them? What should they focus on? Who should they connect with as far as profiles? What are the things that will help them get on the right path? And maybe stated a different way, Victoria, is like, what do you wish you would have known when you were starting? If you could go back that 18 years or whatever, what might you tell yourself that would have made it even better?
I think that I would have self-studied faster. I relied on the company that I was with to give me the tools to be successful, and they did, but I really saw exponential success when I grabbed the bull by the horns and
Yeah.
started watching sales videos, reading sales books, writing out scripts, because I realized like that my top salespeople, they say the same thing. They're prepared. They know what objections are coming because no matter how many customers you have, they're all pretty much going to say the same thing, right? And so I wish that I would have self-studied faster. I think I would have probably got a little bit better, a little bit faster if I would have self-studied. And then I would have aligned myself with successful people who were doing what I was doing. And what I mean by that is success begets success. And so birds of a feather flock together. And so if
Yeah.
you are not performing, the worst thing you could do is go hang out with non-performers. You got to go ask that top performer, can I go to lunch with you? If you don't mind, can we talk? Can you help me? You have to see people who are successful in the role and go talk to them. And you can't be scared to do that. How I actually became successful when I became a loan officer is literally didn't understand it. And I grabbed someone, they were floor walking from like another site coming to help us. And I said, hey, I said, I know I went to the training, but I really don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Can I get some one-on-one time with you? And that person came in 2 hours early with me one day and just sat and gave me some individual attention. And I wrote down what they said and we practiced together. And then from there, I had a lot of success because I got what I needed. So for help as soon as possible, but you have to self-study and you have to create your own style. A lot of times people forget this is a sales job, right? So you have to have your own kind of je ne sais quoi, your own style, your own way of doing things, because you can take attributes from other people that are successful, but you still have to do it your way because that's what sounds and feels natural. If you just try to
Yeah.
like copy and paste someone else, it's not going to be natural. You're not going to have their success. You have to take the things that you like from them and then turn them into, okay, how do I put Victoria style on that, right? The Victoria
Right.
flavor on that. And when you do that, a lot of confidence comes with that and a lot of success. But someone just coming into the game, I would just say, be ready every day. This is not a job where you can do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then take off Thursday, Friday. This isn't a monotonous job where you're doing the same thing over and over again. This is not that. Every day is something new. So you got to put your seatbelt on every time you get into the car because you don't know where the car is going to take you. But I would self study. I would connect faster with people who are super successful. And then I would I'll be honest with you, meditation. This is a very mentally heavy job. And once I learned to meditate and let the losses go and celebrate the wins, it became a lot more enjoyable. And if you think about it, we look for a 10 to 20% lead to lock. That means if you talk to 10 people, you're only going to lock one or two. You have to be okay with the other 8 to 9 people saying no or not qualifying, or whatever the case may be. But if you focus on the people who don't qualify, you're not going to be ready for the person that does qualify. So you have to be okay learning no. And I think that sometimes in our kind of popcorn society, we want it all right now. We want success right now. I want the deal right now. You have to be patient because patience is the name of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to that point, the presence of being there for every call, just like in sports or anything, if you're thinking about the last play or what's on the scoreboard, you're not going to be as effective as if you're dialed in to that customer and the impact you're going to make, and then you move on
That's it.
to the next one either way. And the other thing I was going to say, and I think you're so right, is that connecting with other people, whether it's through mentorship or just best practice sharing, it is super powerful. And I just think that Newrez, for lack of the culture, and I just think the people here are so open to that. I just see it all the time where top performers are entirely open to spending the time to work with people, to be available for panels, to all these kind of things. And it's one of the things when I talked to that group of new people earlier this week, I said, look, if you want to get better at this, you should look around you, find the people who are doing well in your branch, in the center, and reach out to them and set the time because they will be willing to do that. That has been my experience 100% of the time that I've been part of this team.
And not just top performers in your department. One thing that I've learned through leadership is connecting with other leaders in other departments and having them break down what they do. Great example of that is Jeffrey Cancelaria. I came in and said, listen, I understand the markets, but I don't know everything I want to know about capital markets. He said, schedule time with me. I'll teach you everything that you need to know about capital markets. And then that will actually help me do my job better because now we have a little bit more. Same thing with processing. Erin Narciso was just here and me and her spent a lot of time together. I want to know processing in and out because once the loan gets to them, I want to understand what do they do because then I can be a better partner for them. So not just top performers in your position, but just anyone that has anything to do with whatever job you're doing because no one has a singular job where it's just them. Learn every single thing, every process, every step of the way. That way you can be better, not just for yourself, but for your customer as well.
Yeah, great point. Awesome. Okay, anything that we did not cover, Victoria, that you would want to share with our team members, share with our customers, partners? What did we not cover today that's important to you?
I don't think we didn't cover anything, but I will say that Newrez has presented probably the best career opportunity that I've had in my entire life. It is a long-term company. A lot of times people get a job. This is a career, and we're building a family. And I think that a lot of times we can take for granted how good we have it here. I talk to a lot of different people at different companies and they share their problems. They also share their successes. And sometimes I listen, I say, man, I'm glad I work at Newrez because we have some of those things figured out. We are a forward thinking company and it's super important that any mortgage company is forward thinking because mortgages are completely different than what they were 2 years ago. And this company has taken the time to not just invest in systems and tools and AI, they've taken the time to invest in people and make sure that the right people are in the right place and that we have the right support. And with that support, we can then go and support our employees and be the best we can be. So I would just always want to give a thank you. And then also thank you to you for doing this. So many companies don't do this. They want you to come in, put your head down and work. They don't take the time to celebrate each other, to talk to each other, to build these bridges, right? And one thing that I will tell you is everyone keep your heart in your hustle. That's one of our core values. If you have those two things, your heart and your hustle, those two things will always lead you to success, no matter what your position is, whether it's sales or not sales. If you come in every day with those two things on 100%, you will always have a great day every single day.
That's awesome. What a way to finish. All right. Thank you, Victoria, for making
Thank you.
time for us today. Until next time, everybody.
Thank you so much. It was more than a pleasure.